Self-Publishing Podcast, episode number 155.
This episode of the Self-Publishing Podcast is brought to you by 99 Designs, the online marketplace that helps you get outstanding book cover designs at an affordable price. Start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP. Enjoy a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99.
Welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, where if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself. And now, here are your hosts, three guys who can't set up a Google Hangout. Hey, John and Dave.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Self-Publishing Podcast, the podcast that follows three full-time authors as we attempt to change the face of indie publishing. Join us and our trailblazing guests as we shove aside boundaries, freely experiment, and occasionally screw up. I'm Johnny V. Truant, and my co-hosts are Sean Platt and David Wright, dusting off one of the original intros today about the inability to set up a Google Hangout. Do you guys remember that the very first episode, I don't know if you remember this from the Golden Oldies days, where we went on a diatribe about how we couldn't set up the Hangout. We were. It was our salad days.
And hopeful.
And Sean said,
"You've never been hopeful."
Sean said, "I'm not going to finish this. This is good." Sean says, "Okay, fuck you guys. You guys talk now."
No, what did Sean say?
He said, "Fuck your mother." That's what he said. Can you imagine this is going to be somebody's first episode? That's always fun to imagine. If you're wondering what the problem is, it's been about 40 minutes. We've been trying
Johnny's
to start.
lost his mind.
Yeah, I'm very. I'm putting on a brave face today. I'm pretending.
Yeah, this
to
is
be
hard
happy.
because Johnny was super excited this morning, and now he's full of rage. And I said before we even started, we can't have two Daves. This show
I'll be
doesn't-
playing the role of Dave today. Dave will be playing the role of something else.
At exactly 3:10 p.m., Johnny wrote, "I love it how nothing ever just fucking works." And I just want to say that is an exact quote I had said last week to my family.
in front of redacted and redacted.
I didn't say fuck, but I just how nothing ever works. And I don't remember. It was probably something very mundane too. I was bitching about.
It was like a carrot peeler.
Well,
We're so
like
spoiled today.
yeah, I think like my wife forgot to. No, she went to this place and instead of honey mustard, brought some like dip sauce back, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So wait, hold on. I know this is a Better Off Undead topic, but your wife went and got the wrong kind of dipping sauce, and you said, "I love it how nothing ever fucking works."
Something like that. No,
These wives, they can't ever. They malfunction all the time.
No. She went to Zaxby's because she was like, near a Zaxby's on the way home.
What's a Zaxby's?
It's a great fast food place. It's
Not.
Yes, it is. Anyway, they
Better or worse than Johnny Carino's?
It's different. It's not better than Johnny Carino's, but
No.
but they have a really good like honey mustard sauce. And the thing is though, if you like ask for like if you get like a chicken finger meal, they won't give it to you. They'll give you like some Zaxby sauce or some shit that just tastes like just nasty. So I always say replace the sauce they give you with honey mustard. Tell them that. So she tells them, but she never checks, and you always have to check because nobody ever does anything right. So she brings it home, and I open it up. Surprise! No honey mustard. It's like, didn't you ask for honey mustard?
We better save this for Better Off Undead. I would like to point out, though, that Dave's hair has been getting spikier, and Dave is laughing, and I'm pissed off. And we have established that I think that we're doing a crossing thing pretty soon.
It's
pretty soon
I think
we'll
you
beat
grow
each
beard.
other. Yes, I should. There were many beards in attendance. All right, so guys, I called this Supercharging Your Writing Business, but really that's just a fancy way of saying let's tell you all about the cool shit that we're doing, because it's sort of a potpourri of cool shit, and but it doesn't sound exciting to be like what's new with Sterling and Stone, right? Like it just sounds like. I don't know.
Cricket.
Well, it sounds douchey, is what it sounds.
It does. It does sound douchey. So I actually have a bunch of sort of announcement type things, but is it too boring to just run through announcement type things?
It's never stopped us before.
That's never stopped us once. Why would we start today?
All right. So people ask us about editing and so we have a new editing recommendation. We've been sending people to one place, and let's send some people to another place. So one of our summit attendees, we had our summit this past weekend in Austin, and one of our summit attendees is a very good editor, and her name is Alyssa. And so selfpublishingpodcast.com/editing will send you to her page. I did need to mention the live show, which is going to be, well, they're all live. Like, I love how that's different, that they're live. The anniversary show is going to be at a different time, much like today. Today was 40 minutes later than normal. So if you watch the live show, the show that would normally be a week from today, that would normally be on the 30, I don't know, is there a 31st day in April? Whatever. It would normally be on Friday.
There is not a 31st.
So that would be May 1st. It would normally be on May 1st. Will instead be on Wednesday the 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the anniversary show for the 3-year anniversary of Self Publishing Podcast. 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, 4/29.
I'm pretty excited about that.
And do we want to mention that we need an admin? Do we want to go into that? I was supposed to announce something about needing an admin. Do you want to go into that or no?
Yeah, we don't have anything formal written, and Amy hates it when we send her people to sort out. So
all right, so we better leave that one for later. But we will, just a heads up, if you're looking for a fun administrative job, we are going to be looking for somebody. So there you go. All right.
All our announcements? That wasn't bad.
Well, no, I was going to give a shout out to the comic. Actually, that was another thing I had on here. The comic that we.
Yes, yes, that was one of the best parts of my week. Yes, please talk about that.
Okay, so selfpublishingpodcast.com, selfpublishingpodcast.com/comic is the short link. I actually don't have it up, and I'm afraid to start new windows because then the world ends when I do things while I'm podcasting. Do one of you want to give proper credit on that?
I have to find it. Dave, do you have it up?
You could just follow the link that I just gave. That would be one way to do it. Selfpublishingpodcast.com/comic. If only I had given a link to it.
Hold on. This is funny. I really, really wanted to show this to Haley, and then thought, nah, I'm better than that.
We had some fan art, but I don't have any.
Yeah, the Ink Abyss. It's the inkabyss.com is the original. And it just says, it's tributes to great writers, part 1, Sterling and Stone. And then there's these just awesome...
We were part 1.
There's just really, really awesome drawings of... there's everyone in the think tank, which is cool.
With a giraffe.
I like how I'm behind Sean.
My nose isn't nearly long enough, but that's okay.
And my fat isn't nearly large enough.
and there's
Johnny's hairless too.
Johnny doesn't.
But that might be reality. I'm not sure.
Probably. And then I'm in a
like you don't know.
Here, so like the Spice Girls or the Transformers, the gentlemen of Sterling and Stone are all awesome in their own unique way. Johnny B. Truant, super productive, super sweary, super positive. Only writer in history with a six-pack. And then Shakespeare is there saying, "Nye, how thou checked out my BMI." Sean Platt, uber optimistic.
You aren't going to read the whole thing, are you? You should.
No. Yeah, you should see it. It's very, very funny, and it made me laugh a lot, and just in a giddy, stupid kind of way. Especially the city of boobs and dicks. I didn't quite. I think that's probably what tipped me over.
Are you sure this is a tribute to great writers? Or should we want to do that?
So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I miss Dave vanishing. When we have a week without a podcast, I miss the little things. And Dave's avatar suddenly appearing inexplicably while he does something that nobody knows what it is. He's probably decoding documents or something that can't be on camera.
He's redacting stuff.
I miss it. So yeah. So today is Friday for the live people. It's actually Friday for everybody, but you may be experiencing this in the future. And last Friday we didn't have a show because Sean and I were away. Dave was in a normal spot, wherever that is.
Dave refused to come meet us.
Well,
but it was a weekend packed with.
I'm sorry, it was my son's birthday.
Dave, let me sell you on it. It was a weekend packed with meeting and strategy. It was nonstop walking. Lots and lots of exercise.
Yeah, Lots
So
of
I'm not going in September either then.
It was exercise, fine food, and talking about marketing. So if you want to get in on that, there you go. I showed up early Thursday morning and left midday Monday, and it was nothing but strategy stuff. And so some really cool things that you guys will see over the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, wait.
As they evolve.
Before you go on, this is another thing about the value of in-person stuff. Even if you are just working with like a partner, or even if you don't work with anybody, and you go to events a couple of times and see other writers, just I don't know. Johnny and I have meetings every single week, and they're always they're a couple hours, and we barely scratch the surface of all the stuff that we have to really get into. And especially the last couple of months, we've had this whole we'll put that off to Austin. We'll put that off to Austin. Put that off to Austin. And that was the vibe. We would just, we'll discuss that later. And so when I picked up Johnny at the airport, we went straight to Smitty's and had meat, lots and lots of meat. And then thought, okay, well, we're going to have to hit this list sometime. And I had this list that was really long of all, like each line could have been a 1 or 2 hour conversation of stuff that we'd put off. And it was kind of amazing that by the time we had our we're going to the hotel to meet peeps on Friday night, almost all of the list had been punched through, which is really, really cool, because that's like how the business
Dave
grows.
punches through all of the lists that you give him, I'm pretty sure.
That is true. But this was the list wasn't harmed in any way. The list was very happy to be lovingly caressed as much as it was.
Let's stop this metaphor before it gets any worse.
So it was pretty cool. Like amazing stuff happened at the summit. But even before that, just being able to, have meetings in person and not have them interrupted, not have to worry about Google cooperating or a, crappy, phone connection, to be able to take very long walks and sort stuff out, I think was just so beneficial to business. And if you collaborate with anybody long distance, or even just, want that connection every once in a while, it's just so worth it.
Now, here's the part where I tell Sean ahead of time, let's not explore all these things that I'm going to mention, but just to give you a teaser, like just going to run down a bullet point list without even delving into some of it, just so you guys can get an idea of what's coming forward. And we will talk a little bit about this. We talked about sort of masterminding. We talked about an app that we're developing that's really, really exciting. We talked about some changes to our own website and some website offerings that we're going to have. We talked about autoresponder strategy and street team, sort of review team sort of stuff that we'll go into in
and it's big because
the
street team stuff is, that's stuff we've been trying to crack the code on for ever, and we finally, I think, got to it.
We talked about cross-platform strategy for Barnes & Noble, Nook, and Apple. We talked about bundling, promotion for BookBub, mailing list growth, Facebook strategy, all of this stuff. So you'll see all of this sort of evolve. And that didn't even, I'm not even including the stuff that was the biggest takeaway from the weekend, which was all of our strategy. We talked with, one of the people who attended the summit was James Tan from Podium Publishing. And that dude is a good-looking guy. He looks like Bradley Cooper. And he's a maverick. Like that guy, I guess I just didn't realize via email what an entrepreneur he is. Like he just wants to do as crazy shit as we do. So I'm sure we'll see some really cool stuff with Podium coming down the pike too.
Yeah, he's fearless. They're willing to do. They have very big ideas, and I don't know. I could talk to fearless entrepreneurs. That's just my crack. I could talk to those people all day long, and so that was really, really cool.
If he's there in September, I have a request to make, and that's he's sitting nowhere near me, because he will just make me look like the troll that I am, even more so.
Dave, you're beautiful. Everybody knows this. You've gotten compliments from my father.
Eyes. Yeah, you're a sexy beast.
See, your father, he's a painter, so I'm thinking his idea of beauty is like, have you seen some of the weird things that painters paint? Like, they have, like, it's just like fucking weird looking guy or woman or whatever, and Yeah, I think that's your father's idea of beauty. Is like, oh my God, such a unique, bizarre creature.
Such a bizarre
It's beautiful.
creature.
Yes.
Like the bag in American Beauty that was floating in
Yeah.
the breeze. You'll see changes too coming to the we can talk about this stuff, right? Just in vague terms without giving specifics that'll make Amy nervous as far as what we're going to do live in person going
People
forward.
love when we're vague, so yes.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay, so we did this was sort of a neither nor live event that we did. So it was the first one that we did. So these are both coming out of the Fiction Unboxed project that we did in June of last year, and so we needed to fulfill 2 in-person events, and one was a very small room, and that's the one we did in September.
Really
And
high
it
touch on that one.
High touch, and it was close to a true mastermind, although we did stick with Dream Engine World stuff largely in that group. And you just see that a lot. And then this one was called the Colonist Session originally because the first one was building the world and these people were colonizing it. But
this one had nothing to do with the Dream Engine at all.
Nothing to do with the Dream Engine at all. It was very close to a mastermind, but kind of not. And so what we've decided to do going forward is we'll still keep 2 mastermind. By the way, can you guys hear that buzzing, or is that just in my headphones? It's one of many things that are fucked up.
I always hear a buzzing.
Can you hear it?
No, I do not hear it.
Okay, I'll just deal with it. So we're gonna stay with the 2 in-person events things in roughly April and roughly September, but the April one will be a larger. It'll be like it'll be like a conference sort of. It'll be something where we'll have speakers come in, and we'll have a few hundred people, and that will grow over time, and it will be a lot less expensive than these. And then we're also going to divert in the other direction and keep a pure, like a true mastermind for both of those. So in other words, we'll have one larger live event a year, and then we'll have a true mastermind that will append to the April event, and also have in September, separate from it.
Okay, just for the record, I'm not going to be there at the April one, like, ever. I mean, 200 people, forget.
Dude, you have to be. People will love you.
It doesn't matter if they love me. 200 people. If it was 200 of the most awesome people
he has
ever
to love
that all
them.
love me, I would still. That's 200 fucking people. That's a lot of people.
What if everybody promises to wear shoes? And
Garrett won't wear shoes. Right away, it's broken.
No. What if everybody
He'll stink like smoke?
What if we?
Garrett.
No. What if we send
The
waivers?
smoking man from X-Files.
We send waivers so that everybody has to follow the rules for me. And if you don't sign a waiver,
private booth like Robin Quivers.
If you don't sign a waiver, you don't get to go.
Yeah, all right.
So the mastermind stuff is really very cool. Sean's been part of I'm out of all the things we're doing, I may be the most excited about this because there were some very smart people in the room this past weekend, and it makes everyone smarter. So it isn't like Sean's been part of a few masterminds. I've never been truly part of one, but it's not a situation where any one person is or people are speaking to everybody else like all the time. And we saw a lot of that this past weekend, where we got a lot of ideas from other smart people in the room that we will adapt and use going forward. And that's what I'm looking forward to, sort of purifying that mastermind experience, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite thing about a the thing about a mastermind is you never ever want to be the smartest guy in the room or girl. You want to go into a room where everybody is feeding off of the intelligence and energy of everybody else. And one of the things, Dave. All right. And so it was really awesome that we genuinely had that, and it was also cool because I don't know, the room, even as it was filled with a lot of different experiences. We had somebody in there who was sold 50,000 print copies off of her website, which is really, really cool.
Like direct.
Like, yes, direct stuff. Someone else who had 10 authors working with her, which is very, very cool. We had a coder, and Will. I don't know. That's what I want to talk about most. Can we talk about that, Master Beats, at some point?
Yeah, at some point.
that's really cool. So you have all these different perspectives and influences and kind of coalescing to some pretty brilliant ideas. But the idea of a mastermind isn't somebody sitting there telling you what they know. It's the room exchanging ideas. And so we had something called hot seats. And the idea behind the hot seat was that everybody in the room got a chance to kind of identify the biggest pain point in their business, and then have everybody in the room kind of brainstorm the ideas. And that was really, really awesome, because the idea in every mastermind I've ever been in is that that's where you get the most. It's not just what you bring to your hot seat and have everybody kind of work out. It's listening to what other people's problems are and then finding the intersections with how that influences your own business. And some of those hot seats were just really awesome.
So have you guys? So Sean is like, he's normally giddy, and he's been super giddy with all this stuff. And I'm just wondering how much you've conveyed to Dave, because this is the first I've seen Dave since I've been back. So have you guys, Dave, at all? Dave, I could ask you directly, but it's much more fun to ask Sean about you.
No, this is actually hilarious.
Have you guys discussed all this? Have you guys discussed the mastermind or any of
Yes. So Dave and I had our normal meeting.
Dave is. I just like to point out that Dave is so. I just joked about. He's frozen. That's why.
No, I'm not.
I was gonna joke. No, you are frozen on my screen. You're frozen from. Oh, okay.
Oh, I
so
got
Dave just shared a.
Gregory Lynn on Twitter posted a quote from me. Nobody ever does anything right. David W. writes sterlingandstone.net. I love that.
It is very nice.
Awesome.
All right, so go ahead.
This is actually hilarious, because we had our normal meeting. Our normal meeting, mine and Dave's, is Monday, and Johnny was still here on Monday, taking Dave's spot. So
just like in life.
So Dave got Johnny's spot on Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
And we were
a little greasy.
I was
meeting to the payback.
So I was super still high from the weekend.
What? 420?
No, I was not that kind of high. I was super excited about the podcast and about everything that had going on, and I had like a list of things I was excited about, and one by one, it was just like it was talking to a leaking balloon.
I'm the antidote to happiness, all right?
He really is. Like, by the time we were done, I just felt tired, and I wanted a nap, and my enthusiasm was just sapped.
And cry.
It was terrible. Like the weekend was amazing, and then talking to Dave was just, I don't know, it was like herpes.
But have you guys talked about the mastermind specifically? Because I don't even know if Dave's going to be part of the mastermind.
No, I told him about it. I told him the name, which I think is awesome. Zero Affect. I told him about the idea.
You didn't tell me the name. I read the name. I thought the name was awesome, but you didn't tell me the name. We didn't have that conversation.
Okay, this is how little you were listening. I did tell you the name, and you didn't care.
I didn't remember that. I don't think you did. You must have said it when I was like away from the computer.
No, that's how I opened.
I love how there's two of you. I love how there's two of you in the meeting, and Dave's advancing a scenario wherein Sean may have been talking while Dave was away from the computer. He's the only other person there.
Well, you gotta get up and get a soda, go to the bathroom.
He's doing that trick in Speed where you have a fake Dave on a tape loop.
Decoy Dave.
Who goes like this, just reacting.
There was a Decoy Dave, I think. Because
but guys, the name... look at me trying to go down a road there, and the mastermind. I am excited about the mastermind. It's because it's going to be called the Stone Table. Like, how cool is that? I think that's just the coolest name.
Yeah, I love the name.
Best name ever, man.
There we go! Yay, Dave!
If you're looking for excitement, you're going to the wrong place. All right, it's just like my excitement. This is my excitement level. Like, yeah, awesome, okay.
Yes, but this is like 20 times what it was on Tuesday. Of course, now granted, you've only been up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay, so we need to start rescheduling our meetings, or you need to wake up more than 30 minutes before we start.
You need to have meetings at night like a normal person.
Wow. All right. So, yeah. So the Stone Table, I think I don't know, it kind of the imagery suggests all the right stuff. So I don't know, I've been a part of Masterminds now for 5 years, and I feel like it's the best place to get smarter faster, and that's kind of what we wanted to build. And last September we saw the first hint of that, and again, giant big shout outs to Amy and Monica and Calvin and Matt, who really believed in us. I'm not including Garrett in that because he's Garrett, but they they all believed in us, and had that little mastermind, and that was so story focused, and necessarily so. And this one just it wasn't story focused at all. We were really talking about ways to improve the craft and sell more books, and all the stuff that we've been really hyped on this year so far, as iteration and optimization. But like, I don't know if we should be talking names at all, but one of the people in the room was like a ninja at data, and he just knew all about he had BookBub metrics, and he was so.
His name was Edward Snowden. Okay, just say it. You can say it.
He was super, super smart and a fantastic, fantastic storyteller. I mean, verbally, just had everybody laughing and happy, and I don't know, that kind of camaraderie is just really amazing. And it's hard because you want to be in a room where people are the same but different, if that makes sense. You don't want. I don't think a room full of everybody is just writing their books is going to be extremely powerful. I think you want a room where somebody is doing crazy cool things in different elements of publishing, and basically that's our intent. We absolutely intend for the Stone Table, within a short period of time, but no more than a couple of years, to grow into the world's best publishing mastermind. And I have every confidence that it will. And we've taken 3 very large steps towards that. The tiny thing last September, the bigger thing now, and then what we're planning for this coming September, and then our big event in April. So anyway, it's all very exciting. I know we probably have to have an impromptu conversation about.
Yeah. So the mastermind is subset of a subset of a subset of you. But anybody who's interested in that, we do. Just go to sterlingandstone.net/stone-table. Stone Table will also work without the dash. sterlingandstone.net/stone table. And just you basically shoot an email to Amy, and she'll send you more information. But there are we want to build the smartest room in publishing. It'll be a very, very small group, and just taking applications for that. And there's some people that I hope will apply. You know what I mean? Like this, I have in mind some. I don't think he's going to apply, but I have in mind some very smart people. Stephen King.
Oh.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Some very smart, marketing-minded, just ninja sorts of people that I'm really, really hoping will be part of this group, because having everybody in that room, like, we just want to build a really, really smart room. And so, anyway, that's it on that. So, speaking of marketing and all that stuff, I heard that we may or may not have been working on a logo for the Smarter Artist imprint here at Sterling and Stone. Dave?
Yes. And here's a situation where Sean said, originally this was going to be something that they were going to ask me to do. And I was like...
We did ask you.
That always goes well.
No, I mean to actually do the logo, not even just source it to 99 Designs.
No.
Actually do the logo at one point.
Who?
Who? Yeah, 99 Designs. Have you heard of them?
No.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing about 99 Designs. Okay, let me just say, Sean and Johnny do not know how to run a 99 Designs contest. All right, they tell me, hey,
literally, we don't know how to run
you guys are
because we've never done it. We just give it to you guys.
It's your IQ. But what happens is, okay, here's the email from Sean or Slack message or whatever the fuck it was. He says to me, hey, we need a logo for Smarter Artists. Go ahead and take care of it. Doesn't tell me anything about the logo. What do you want?
Incidentally, that's exactly what I told Amy, and bam, 2 days later.
Yeah, okay, well, fuck you. Okay. 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 Well, Amy, see,
Sean
Amy,
did tell me take care of the autoresponder, so just saying.
Okay, when you go to 99 Designs, you want to give them you want to give the designers some direction of some sort, maybe. Tell them what you're looking for. Maybe show them some other logos or what the company is. You basically want to guide your designers, and Amy did that, unlike Sean. And
But Dave, you could have done that. You could have said, "What do we
because
want
I
in our
don't know what
logo
you
for
guys
the smart artist?"
you guys fucking
But
want.
what you want? You're the artistic guy. You
I
get to
would
make the
imagine.
decision.
I would imagine that you would know more than Amy. I mean, Amy's Amy. She's
What are you
awesome.
saying, Amy?
But-
Stupid now?
No, I'm just saying.
Well, apparently
you are
not.
part of the
Amy was
company.
involved, just saying.
I'm saying your name is on the Smarter Artist books. I'm saying you are part of.
Amy did such a good job. I want to give her a round of applause for that.
Good job, Amy. I think we should take Write, Publish, Repeat, and the new version of the cover should have a scratch through Dave's name, and it should have Amy on it.
Yeah, good for you all. Fuck all of you. Okay, there was when we did the Sterling and Stone logo. Originally, you guys told me, "Hey, Dave, you handle it." And then, like when the first wave of things came back, you go, "Oh, I don't know if I like
Is
it."
this still an ad read?
Yeah, it is. Okay, so shut up. Okay, so you guys.
How does 99designs.com solve this problem?
Well, hold on. Okay, so you guys are like, "Oh, I don't like this first wave," and like you are then giving direction after the fact. It's like building a house and then telling the architect after, "No, that's nothing at all what I wanted." So,
Sounds a little like the LaFleur cover.
yeah, you fuckers. So okay. So the lesson here is, give your designers some ideas of what you want. Show them some examples, maybe. Tell them, what the logo should be like, or what the book cover should be like if you're doing a book cover. Anyway, Amy did it. Smarter Artist. She put it out there, and I don't even think it was 24 hours where we had like 50-something entries, and I looked at them.
We just dropped the fucking mic. We were like, you guys don't even get to finish this contest.
I've never
Drop
been
the mic.
satisfied that quickly with anything ever, okay?
Anything
Anything ever. And I saw this one, and I'm like, contest is over. The contest usually runs like 3-4 days, where the first round, and then you kind of go to the next round. I saw this. I said, no, this is a winner right here, so I'm going to share it with y'all.
This
right
contest was a 2-pump chump.
There it is, Smarter Artists. I love the logo. I love the square with the A that looks like a little pencil. I mean, it looks like an app avatar or icon actually. I think it's awesome, and we got that at 99designs.com/SPP. So if you want something awesome and you're willing to like guide your designers, unlike Sean and Johnny, and tell them what you're looking for, they will deliver something awesome like this.
Can we micromanage Dave at every stage? Dave, you're not allowed to make any decisions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe go on behind that logo.
So
anything you want to tell
start
people? Have anything to
custom
lose?
design today at 99designs.com/SPP. 99 Designs bringing companies together since 2000, whatever it is. We're making harmony within trios worldwide. You have if you don't like your design, you got nothing to lose. You can stop your contest, walk away, drop the mic, just like we did, but demand your money back. So there you go. 99designs.com/SPP. Sloppiest ad read ever, but we hear they work.
If you use our promo code,
you will get the power pack valued at $99, and if you don't use that, you're some sort of subhuman cretin, and really shouldn't be running ad designs or operating heavy machinery.
Right.
I loved our attendees so much too, because we couldn't even talk about covers without all the chimes of /SVP, right?
Our attendees were also really immature too. Motherfuckers kept interrupting to make lewd jokes. That happened many times.
I think we kind of set the tone with this show.
I think we trained him. There are peeps.
Okay.
So, all right. So
we got some
go
YouTube
ahead, Dave.
comments. Okay,
let's hear.
People are agreeing with me. Kristen Stevens says, Dave, I'm the same way with crowds. 200 people sounds scary, and I don't even have germaphobe problems. Kate Morgan says, but would Dave go to the next summit if it were sponsored by 99 Designs?
Yes, we will. Come on, we need to get 99 Designs on the phone.
Dylan Perry says, totally agree with Dave. I love you guys, and it sounds awesome, but 200 people, fuck that. We attract the antisocial people. At least I do.
No, good.
Chrissy Moss says, most cons have thousands of people, but there's panels, and each panel has less than 30 in a room. 200 with only one meeting room doesn't seem manageable. Yeah, where are we going to meet with 200 people? In a desert?
Same hotel.
Same hotel.
Renaissance Hotel, Austin.
People? They have a meeting room for 200 people?
Yeah, easily. Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we'll tell you some of the speakers that we're thinking about off air, Dave, because I think that would be really cool. So, yeah, actually, just on the topic of Summit and 200 people and Dave, there was lots of Dave love. It was like he was there. Dave the Taper was there.
Dave the Taper was there.
Dave the Taper wants to comment on things. It was like you were a presence in the room. And it was funny because at one point, who was it that somebody like wanted to definitely stand up for Dave? Like it was like, Dave is awesome. You guys are busting on Dave.
Hey, motherfucker. It's probably
well, no more than normal. Like the exact same things we normally do. And then there was a big Dave love fest at the end that was causing some emotion around the room when we were talking about how awesome Dave was.
Wow.
So
any of this called a video that I can see, or
it's on audio, I think.
Yeah, I gotta listen to hear what you fuckers are saying about me.
Well, we had two sections. We did have a what not to do, and then we also had a section that was Dave was right, and we talked about all the things that you were right about.
1 minute long.
We actually did say several times on that there were several things where we said Dave was right on this. So.
Yeah, totally. We had it was a Dave was right panel. It was kind of awesome.
Sweet. So you were going to say something before I so rudely interrupted, or was that it?
Just to say that you were that there was lots of Dave love. That's basically all I wanted to say. Everybody loves Dave. Everybody wants more Dave.
Everybody does love Dave.
I do want to say James Thorne and I tonight at 9:30 p.m. we are doing a horror movie podcast thing.
A horror movie podcast?
Oh, if only there were a podcast about horror movies that
like
turn into something terrible.
What other horror movies are there?
We're talking about we're talking about specific. I think it's like a one-time event, and I'm not exactly sure if he's putting this into another show. I don't remember all of the details, but basically we're going to talk about.
That's okay. You didn't remember the name of our mastermind either.
I didn't remember the name of our main character from a book that we just wrote a month ago. Okay.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, can I tell that story?
I just told it. There's nothing to tell.
Well, I could give more color.
All right, so why don't we hit some of the things, because, again, I called this How to Supercharge Your Writing Business just as a catch-all, but maybe hit some of the cool things that did come out of our discussions this weekend, not specifically Summit Mastermind stuff, but just going forward strategic stuff, and we'll delve into more of this as we go through the rest of this year on the podcast. But, Sean, I know you're dying to hit the app, right?
Well,
do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I am, but does that really fit with the topic? Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to go on about it. And then maybe I could get some of the enthusiasm from Dave that I missed on Tuesday. But is that, I mean, that's not something people can, should this be applicable to the average person?
I guess it's more applicable to the average person.
I got to break in and interrupt. Amy made a comment here. She said she totally copied the SNS logo contest brief, which I did when she created the Smarter Artist logo. So there you go.
Okay, the point is it managed to get done without micromanagement. That's it. That's all.
This time.
I don't care how.
Right, so ostensibly, couldn't you have just copied your own brief?
Fuck you.
At the first time.
And we got a comment from a first-time listener. Taylor Eaton says, first-time listening live. I recently listened through all the SPP backlog. And then she writes, I don't know what's wrong with me. What the fuck?
I don't know what's wrong with you either, but we love you. Thank you.
At least it wasn't the BOU archives.
No, nobody's ever listened to that.
No, somebody did.
The archives?
I was talking to somebody last night.
Who would do that?
Ashley Shannon. She said she had just recently gone through the whole BOU, or was going through all of the archives, and I was like,
court mandated, or
you should warn her against that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, you should never
And
admit
what did she
that
do
either.
wrong? Was this something that was bad? Poor woman.
Yeah.
So what were some of our takeaways that could be applied? I mean, I'm thinking like because I'm very in this. I was doing some autoresponder street team stuff, but that feels like it deserves its whole episode, and maybe that one that we need to do when we're going to Denver would be a good one to do that on a full autoresponder thing. I don't know, street team stuff.
What probably would have been
we talked about so much.
what probably would have been a good idea is to kind of talk to a few people who gave their hot seats and find out what is okay to talk about, because one of the things that I really liked, I'll try to be specific while still being general, is the idea of going where your audience is. So we had one attendee who has a book that has actually two.
There were two that were very like this.
Yeah. Okay. So you know where I'm going with this. Awesome. So they were very culturally relevant. Both of their books would have, if you found a particular niche audience for this, it wasn't. One of them actually was genre fiction, and one wasn't at all genre fiction. It was actually a print copy of something. But what they had in common was that if they got to the right audience, the book could market itself. Like it had that kind of viral potential.
It was almost like a movement. Like it was something you could get behind because it was about heritage and culture rather than just about the story or the book itself.
Yeah, and it was interesting how different these projects were, but that was their common denominator. And so, of course, everybody in the room wants to find more readers for their book, whatever their book is. And in both of these, the ideas had nothing to do with getting more traffic to Amazon, because that's kind of a tired subject. Like that's what everybody's worried about. And the ideas here were more about finding the people who could spread the word for you. And that, and it's kind of hard to talk about this without being specific to the project. But one was a Pinterest board, which sounds like, well, Pinterest for marketing a book, that doesn't make sense. But considering what the book actually was, it was kind of the perfect idea for it. The other one was just kind of finding a cultural center, and the other one had a large cultural movement that could have taken place outside of the U.S. And in a country that's kind of hard to penetrate. But we all talked about ways to find that exact audience here, and I think that going to where your readers actually are, and trying to get people to talk about your book is just, I don't know, it's way more sensible to me if your book is applicable to this kind of thing. It's way more sensible to me than trying to fight with the Amazon beast and with the algorithms, because if you're creating a movement, if you're getting people talking about your book and sharing your book, you're much more likely to get true fans who want to come back over and over.
That was so vague. I'm wondering if that was helpful to anybody.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. Like, hold on. You talk. I'm gonna ask Amy if she thinks people care.
Well, no. It's covered. It's covered. Let's move on. There's a ton of other stuff that we're
rusty. We've been off a week.
We are rusty. Stop it, Sean. Stop it.
All right.
Like by the time we get back to there's so much other stuff. So you have that master list of things that we were doing. Any other highlights pop to mind?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me take that up.
Yeah, I'm very immersed in, like I said, autorespond email stuff, basically. And I don't think it's worth getting into that right now because it deserves an entire show in itself. But since we have multiple lines, and this would apply for anybody, but it really, ours is an extreme case. It's trying to decide how we market back catalog.
We could talk about.
Are you going to go in this?
Yeah. We could talk about the street team, because I think that was a really, really big thing, and kind of cracking that nut was, I think something that most people would be interested, because our autoresponder is, I think, certainly, I think the idea of an autoresponder probably interests most people listening, but ours is so much more complicated than most people's will need to be or will end up being. But the idea of the street team, I think, is relevant to most people and isn't as complicated.
Well, let me save the details of the mechanics and the nuts and bolts of the street team stuff for later, just because it's just tricky.
It's complicated too.
Yeah, tricky and complicated. Very good. So
It's to rock around the rock. Oh, never mind.
If you have a solid street team, then the idea of a street team, by the way, just to harken back, the first person that I remember hearing using that specific term referring to books and your true audience was CJ Lyons when she was on a while ago. It was a great show if you go back in the archives, the first time she was on. And the idea of a street team is like if you were sort of an indie musician or something, then you would have a bunch of people who went around and put up flyers, and they were your hype people, right? Would build anticipate or something. And so what we've been looking to do more formally recently is to build a dedicated team of people who are like our super fans and our evangelists, who when we have something that needs promoting, they'll be evangelists within the community, but they'll also they'll be like, they're good reviewers. They'll leave you an honest review. They'll share your books, that sort of thing. And so we've been looking for how we can really begin to grow that. So what we're looking to do is sort of call from our autoresponder once we get far enough down in the chain and people have been with us for a bit, and sort of say, which of you would be willing to receive advanced review copies, or not necessarily advanced, because these could be for back catalog titles, and probably a lot of them would be.
Yeah, a lot of them will be.
Receive a copy for review. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think that's actually more important. I think it's really great to kind of launch with a lot of reviews. I think certainly that's super important. But I think the tendency, especially in the kind of write, publish, repeat model where you're always getting new stuff out, is that your old stuff gets ignored, and that's a big mistake. I think that you want to not only make sure that your autoresponder does the job of getting people to see your backlist. You want a new person who finds you today to find all of your stuff, and
maybe you want to check out my backlist. So.
You want to show them everything. You don't want to assault them with it. We can pick. We don't have to ask permission to pick on Garrett, right? That's okay.
No, of course not.
Okay, so
picking on us in the comments, so don't worry.
So Garrett did hit an autoresponder recently, and it was I know I'm going to get this wrong, but it's only by a digit or two. I think there were 9 emails over 14 days, which that's too many. And it's too many in too short a period of time. Now, for nonfiction, that's different. But for fiction, where you're trying to gently lead someone through your catalog, it's just too fast. There's no time.
Hey, did you read that last book I read? Yeah, I wrote yet.
Right. It's exactly like that. And it doesn't give the reader any time to acclimate or to actually read or enjoy. And it's just kind of an assault. You want to do something very slow, very over time. And
here's another book and another book.
Right.
Stop.
All that does is it turns the reader off, and it's a fire hose. It can't be a fire hose. It has to be slow. It has to be methodical. That's important. But you also really want to you want to bond. That's really important. You want to kind of treasure that reader, nurture that reader, and you want to lead them to your backlist catalog. And it's not just about sales. You also want to tickle those reviews. You don't want a book that came out 2 years ago to just stop getting reviews. You want people to read it. You don't want somebody to go look at the book and see that the last review to come in was a year and a half ago. You kind of want those to be fresh. And so getting a nice steady stream, that's a job that can be done with your autoresponder if it's done right.
Garrett said he fixed it before the end of the summit. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Garrett.
But I think that you want to look at sort of nested categories of fans. So there's sort of the wider audience that will run into you on a book selling platform. Then there's the people who are dedicated enough to join your your list and receive bulletins. And then I think the core, sort of the tip of the funnel, is the people who are into you enough to be street team members, to be the people who are really, they're into your books. They like the idea of receiving an advanced copy in exchange for an honest review. And so that's something we're going to look to build out too, and we'll talk about that more in the autoresponder show that we do.
Yeah, we're going to do a
Dave looked very giddy to you.
Yeah, I think Dave hates the idea of an autoresponder show.
No, I like the idea. I was laughing at something somebody put on Twitter.
Twitter's so much more interesting than us.
I'm bonding with our audience, you motherfucker. There it is. Nora Jean Stone, a little thing. I am the antidote to happiness. David W.
Oh my
Wright.
God!
Live fan art.
And
Wow.
she wrote, making graphics based on David W. Wright quotes should be the new sensation. It sweeps the nation. That's a scary thought, actually.
It really.
For those of you in audio, it has a punctured balloon and the quote.
So
That-
So one other thing that we were talking about was the idea of bundling and trying to get attention and nurturing those relationships, outside of Amazon, and that the idea of Amazon, it's almost like hope marketing, where you put a book up, you hope for a BookBub ad. You hope that it's going to hit the right keywords and the categories and the people are going to search. And certainly you can get really good at that. You can have the right cover and the right description and be in the right genre and make a lot of money. But it's certainly difficult to build a long-term business at doing that. And
Because we all know hope doesn't last long. And no, I'm not even trying to do quotes now.
how can you not? It's just it's in your DNA. But the idea of if you are going to get out of the select game and you're going to go wide, it's kind of not just enough to put stuff out there, but to try and get attention at the places that you go. And that in social media, Amazon has the biggest slice of the pie, clearly. But if you can go out there and you can let the other booksellers know, with little tweets and things like that, that you're on their site, make sure that on your website you don't just have Amazon buttons, right? You have buttons for all the retailers. They do notice that stuff. They do see that stuff. We're lucky to have Mark from Kobo, who is kind of an evangelist for indies through Kobo. And if you have good product and you reach out to him, he's invested in your success. As long as your stuff is good and your covers are good and your product descriptions are good, all the stuff
The price is right.
The price is right. As long as all the stuff that we
a new car. Sorry, I was doing the Price is Right thing.
So,
all
like,
the stuff that
Bob
we're
Barker. Good
all the
enough.
stuff that we're waiting, that we keep talking about, that all the stuff that we as a company have spent the first quarter of this year and are continuing to do to really optimize. If all that stuff is in place, then other booksellers, they're invested in your success too, and you can do little things to kind of get their attention and tweet them, stuff like that. That was another big topic that I thought had a lot of meat to it.
The cross-platform stuff. Yeah, I feel very jumbled today, so I don't even know where to go with this. I think we did too. I feel like this was very disorganized. I feel like people are going to be like, "What the hell did you talk about today?" But that said, again, we will. This was just the tip of the iceberg.
Well,
This is the tip of the iceberg, and we're gonna continue to talk about all this stuff.
we can talk about the app. That's more specific. See, my problem with talking about a lot of the takeaways is that I feel like we have to be specific to really convey the value of the lesson, and I feel wrong doing that because we didn't ask people.
Well, you're focusing on Summit stuff, and I'm focusing on just the general stuff that we talked about, which doesn't require specifics, or that we can talk about because there are specifics.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of intersections.
Well,
there.
then why don't we consider this to be, this is the summary show, and we'll nail down into details in the coming weeks. And since we started late, and we'll just be done.
I mean, yeah, I could go through this list, dude, but a lot of it is stuff that's just incubating, or we're not ready to announce, or stuff we've already talked about, but now we have final plans on a lot of it.
Yeah, let's be merciful on
All
the
right.
show.
Let's just end. But so we will end, but just real quick, if you're one of those smart business-minded people who has a lot to contribute and can get a lot from a mastermind, I'll just remind you, sterlingandstone.net/stone table. And just remember, if you listen live, here, let me just start the music, that way we'll be efficient here. So if you listen live, then next Friday's show, the one that would normally be May 1st, will instead be Wednesday, April 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of the Self-Publishing Podcast, also known as 3 years of dragging Dave through things he doesn't want to do. And that's about it, I guess. I won't follow with another CTA, just check out the stuff that I already said. And next week, I don't know what we're doing next week. I think next week, can't get to that fast, but somebody interesting. I think know who it might be. So we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for listening.